Today we are going to be repotting this gigantic Anthurium because he is overdue for an upgrade. Now guys, for those of you who grow Anthuriums and want to grow them big, yeah. Do you see what happened right there? He dried out. It is winter time right now. It's like 30% humidity, so the likelihood of this happening is already increased in this kind of low humidity. But when it dries out too quickly as the leaf is emerging, when the root system gets too dry, that's when you get problems like this. Also guys, if you look at the older leaves, these beautiful leaves, look how they got crispy on the edges. Do you see that? Look at that beautiful leaf. This leaf is maybe, I don't know, 2-3 months old. And look how crispy it's got on the edges. That's from drying out. And this is a pretty hardy specimen. And that's saying something. By the way, this is Magnificum OA, also sometimes sold as SP Peru. Magnificum OA, it was sold as Magnificum by Orchideas Amazonicas, which is a South American nursery, I believe South American. And I asked them where they got the plant, and they don't remember where they got it. They just remember somebody gave it to them. So it was probably collected from Peru at some point, I guess, and yeah, there's really no information out there on it, and it's not really sold very often. I would like to get some out on the market for you guys because they're so beautiful. The thing is, they have beautiful flowers, by the way. They go from yellow to red. Amazing, but they only go into the female phase, guys, in the receptive phase. I can't collect pollen from it. I haven't been able to collect any pollen, so we'll see. I'm gonna keep letting it flower, and maybe one day it'll just magically produce pollen, but it might be sterile, or it might just go into the female phase and not the male phase. I don't know. I hope you guys can see me. I feel like I'm so far away from the camera, but anyway guys, this video is primarily not just potting a big Anthurium, but also just looking for the signs of when to pot. So for me, this guy, he's been in here for maybe like a year, and only the last like 3-4 months he put out some big leaves, and these leaves take up a lot of energy from the plant. They hold on to a lot of water. They suck up a lot of water and nutrients via the root system. So I found that this guy has been drying out faster and faster and faster, and it's just been harder and harder to keep up, especially in the dry winter time. So that's why this kind of crispiness has happened. He used to look so pristine for the longest time, and now he looks kind of janky. He's got a new leaf coming in though, and I wanted to repot him when he wasn't putting out a new leaf, but here we are. So we'll just see what happens. I'm gonna try not to disturb his root system too much, but we're just gonna go for it, guys. So we are going to pot him into a bigger container. Whether you're doing a no drainage vase or a pot, it's about 1 inch larger in diameter all the way around. So this may look really, really big, like a lot bigger. It's only about 1 inch wider all the way around, and I would say it's about maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 taller. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a free draining base. Where is the, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, let's go create the free draining base. Where's my base? Here's the base. We're gonna use some fluval stratum, guys. Can you even see what I'm doing? Hold on. Okay. Oh God. All right. Can you guys see? Wait, I need my. Oh, there. You can see that, right? Okay. I'm nearsighted, guys. Can't really see anything. I love no drainage because I'm able to grow Anthuriums this big and not have to water them like every other day, every 3 days in 27% humidity, which it currently is right now. It's been getting real dry. So I'm gonna choose a little bit, just a little base, because I actually want to pot him deeper into the pot. Hey, I'm still here. Okay, so let's take him out. He's gonna be really wedged in there because he's been in here for a long time. Also guys, another tell, or another sign I should say, knowing when to repot. I don't know if I can zoom in, I can't really get that close, but do you see he's like totally root bound in there? He's got a little bit of mold, but I mean, mold is fine as long as the roots aren't getting moldy. But do you see how thick this top is? He is so top heavy, he's gonna snap. So I need to bury him a little bit deeper into the pot so he's a little bit more stable. So let's just very gently, over this mat, try to pull him out. And I might not be able to. Wait a minute. Oh, he's coming, guys. He's coming. Okay. Here he comes, guys. Wait, can you see what I'm doing? I really should have repotted him a long time ago. So he's really squished in there. Wow. Oh my God. That's crazy. I mean, if I wanted to, I could break this vase, but I don't want to deal with the broken glass. Also, I want to keep my vases, guys. Okay. Let's take it out. Oh boy. He is really tight in there. Oh God, the double entendres of this video are just off the charts today. Jesus. Oh God. Okay, take a breather, guys. Oh, take a breather. Oh my God. Wow. Usually these guys just slide right out, but he's been in here so long, he is fat in here. He is, oh boy. If he wasn't so root bound, this would be a lot easier. Oh. Okay. This is hard. This is very hard. Okay. We're about a quarter of the way there, guys. Oh my God, guys, this is nuts. Oh, this is not going according to plan. And my nose is itchy, but my hands are dirty. This is a mess. Oh my God. What a mess. Oh, Jake, how you gonna find a husband when you're just such a mess? Ugh. Oh my God. Oh, there he, oh. Fudgesicle. Oh. Oh. Oh, you fat mother trucker. Oh, God. Look at that, guys. Look at that. All right. Just put it in there. Okay. That was so hard. Look at my hands, guys. Look at my hands. I can't. My God, I gotta cut my hair. I can't scratch my nose. That is insane. Now, I kind of broke some of the roots. I heard some root cracking. I really don't want to disturb the roots, though. Because here's the thing, guys. When I disturb this root system, the root system is going to be like, it's going to be like this big. And I'm going to need a gigantic pot. I don't want to give it a gigantic pot. They also don't mind being kind of root bound. I'm just going to put him in. I'm going to put him in. He's a big boy. He's a big healthy boy. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. So it should be as easy as this. Let me just show you. You take the free draining base. You pour it in. And I need a stick. Where's my stick? Oh boy. This is an absolute disaster. Every video is just a catastrophe on this channel. And then I'm just going to use a brush and just kind of replicate the base so that the fluval stratum, or whatever you're using for the free draining base, if you are doing no drainage like I am, I'm just kind of getting it to match where the original free draining base height layer was. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Right? Am I making sense? Guys, he has lost like 2 big leaves, like 2 emergent leaves. Well, he didn't lose them. I chopped them off because they were coming in looking like this guy. And then this guy came in like this, and I was like, you know what? He needs a new leaf. Like, he needs, after a certain point, they need new leaves. So I was like, you know what? Just do your thing, honey, and we'll deal with it another time. Okay, now let me just check the base. Base looks good. Oh, geez, base looks good. Base looks all right. You know what? A few broken roots never hurt nobody. With a plant this healthy, despite, this kind of stuff, overall the plant is quite healthy. With a few broken roots, it'll be just fine. So, now let's put it to the side. Oh, I got some water right here, guys. Okay, we're gonna make a little concoction. What are we gonna do? Or you know what? Let me make it in here. Yeah, there's no dead roots or anything in here, so I'm gonna make it in here. I got some orchid mix, which is like bark and like a tiny bit of perlite. It's this stuff. Guys, it's like Home Depot stuff. What else do we got? What do we got? This stuff that I got from Plant Corner. It's like aeroid mix. You know, very fine bark. And there's some charcoal in there for some antibacterial properties. What else is in there? I don't know. It's mostly bark. Put a little bit of that in there. What else, guys? What else? We need moss. We need moss, guys. I got this expandable moss. It comes on a slab. You put it in water like so, and it expands. Do I have any tree fern? If I had tree fern, guys, I would add some tree fern. But I don't. But I will add in some fluval stratum. Mix that in there. And then let's get some of this moss. I like the moss because it kind of just wicks up water like a sponge, and it helps keep like all of the substrates a little bit more moist. But having the other elements, the other media in there, keeps the substrate from getting too compact and then also from drying out uniformly, because it holds onto water at different amounts, evaporates at different rates, you know, all that stuff. As opposed to having just all moss, where it would just kind of dehydrate all at the same time and then become kind of hydrophobic. That's the biggest frustration among moss users, is that it gets hydrophobic when it gets too dry. Whenever I think I have enough, I usually don't. So let's keep adding some moss. Let's put it in here, and then let's really mix it up. Because I don't want all the moss to be on top. I want like all the bark to be in there too. Let's get some more in there. Because even though bark is free draining, it can still hold on to quite a bit of moisture. I mean, think about it. That's why mushrooms and epiphytic plants grow on bark, because bark retains moisture. All right, let's put a little bit in here. Okay. Can you see a damn thing? I can't tell. Oh God. This guy's a mess. When he puts out new leaves again and looks pretty, I will eventually cut off these ugly leaves because, you know, we don't do that in this household. But because I do love this guy, I do want him to utilize these big leaves. I want him to photosynthesize. I want him to get big and strong, so I don't want to deter him from doing just that by cutting off his big leaves. Because this leaf can absorb a lot of energy from the grow light. You feel me? I got this guy when he was so small. If I have a picture, I'll put it right here. He was so small, and I think I've had him for about, is it 2 years or 3 years? I don't know, either 2 years or 3 years. It might have been 2. But I got him when he was basically a seedling, guys. I got him off Facebook. A seller was selling him. I got him for, I think, like $100. I guess if seedlings are hard to get out of this guy, and if seedlings take a very long time, you know, I mean, then I might up the price a little bit just because I've been caring for it for longer. There are some Anthuriums like Clarinervium, which can take over a year to produce berries. That's why you don't really see Clarinervium hybrids on the market. One, Clarinerviums aren't really that compatible with a lot of Anthuriums, especially Velvet Anthuriums. It's actually not in Section Cardiolontium. It was kicked out of Section Cardiolontium, which is where all of the velvet leaf Anthuriums are. Warkianum, Pap, Dresslery, Crystallinum, all the ones we love, all the popular ones on the market. It's just not really compatible. Maybe eventually, or maybe someone already did make a cross with Clarinervium, but it's very hard to do it. That's what I'm trying to say. Not impossible, nothing's impossible. Sometimes intersectional crossing can occur. It's definitely been done. And when it's done, it's a big deal. So people need to understand that there are certain Anthuriums that are very easy to cross-pollinate and certain Anthuriums that are not. So if you can cross-pollinate, like, you know, a Warkianum with a Veitchii, that would be insane because they're not part of the same section. That's why you haven't seen a Warkianum crossed with Veitchii. You've seen Veitchii crossed with Andrianum, the most popular Anthurium. I'm pretty sure I've seen those, which is very interesting because you get kind of like that Veitchii, not quite as dramatic, but you get like that Veitchii looking leaf with the corrugation on it, but then you get the red flower, which is really nice. That red inflorescence. And I don't care what anyone says, Anthurium andrianum is one of the most beautiful flowers in the world. I mean, people look at it and like, oh, it looks fake, it looks like plastic. Yeah, because that's how beautiful it is. It looks so beautiful, it looks fake. And when you see something like that, we're so used to plastic things in our society, guys. Think about that. If you're in the dark, deep shade of the rainforest and you just see this pop of shiny red, like what? I mean, even most orchids don't look that beautiful. I'm just gonna say it. Most orchids don't look nearly as stunning as an Anthurium andrianum in full bloom, okay? And they bloom like all year round, basically. And I hope to see some in Colombia. That would be awesome. I've seen pictures of just like field, not fields, but like whole clusters. Is that the right terminology? I don't know. Like whole patches of them in the rainforest. And it's like, oh my goodness. And there's different varieties too, there's different forms. You know, they don't all look quite the same. And there's other Anthurium species that have like a red flower. That painter's palette, the colloquial name as they're referred to sometimes. Does kind of, you know what? It does kind of look like a painter's palette, guys. It does. So, I don't blame them for naming it that. So guys, do you see how I use pretty much all of this substrate? Just when I think I made too much, I didn't make nearly enough. But I'm gonna mostly have the moss on top, so that can give me like an indication of when it needs to be watered. Because when the moss starts to dry out on top, the substrate below will still have moisture on it. So even though it'll look dry on top and I can go water it, it won't be dehydrated. Does that make sense, guys? I feel like that has worked in the past for me. I don't really run like scientific experiments, but I feel like just by observation that kind of works for me where I live. But everyone's growing methods are different because everyone's growing conditions are different, guys. Don't just do what I do just because, you know, you like watching my YouTube videos or whatever. Or you see this beautiful plant and you're like, oh, well, whatever he's doing, I gotta do. Guys, there are people down in South Florida, NSC Tropicals, Silver Chrome Gardens, they're growing these big, beautiful plants. SKG, he talks about how they grow their plants, because it's so hot down there and the water evaporates so quickly, they grow their plants in like thick peat moss. It's just like mud. And if you ever buy a plant from SKG, people say that it's just planted in mud. And it's like, what? And if you tried to grow that here, it would just rot. But down in South Florida, where it's just so hot, especially in the summertime, it needs all that moisture it can get. All that moisture to compensate for all that heat. Because these plants, some of them are high altitude or medium altitude. So just because they're down by the equator doesn't mean they're used to like 95 or 100 degrees. You know, like they could be, like they might need a drop in temperature to like 55, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And they might only get a high of like 70, 75 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. You know? So you have to take all these into consideration. That's why some Anthuriums, or just some plants in general, just because they come from the same genus doesn't mean they're all going to have the same care necessarily, because it really depends on where they come from in the world, where they come from in the wild, what their ecosystem is like. You know, like this guy, if I had to take a wild guess, it was probably a low or like lowish middle elevation species. There's no way this was a high elevation species. Because I wouldn't have had this much success growing it in my care. Also, this probably didn't grow in an area like where it was super wet, like by a stream or anything. For example, Anthurium debilis, the weakest Anthurium ever. Debilis actually means weak. I will do a documentary on debilis at some point, because it is funny how they named it weak, because it grows along streams, so it just likes wet feet all the time. And it likes high humidity all the time. Even though it's a low elevation species, you would think that, oh, like it's used to like the warmer temperatures. You know, it doesn't need that drop in temperature and stuff. It's not quite as fussy as the higher elevation species, but no, it's one of the fussiest ones out there in terms of cultivation. So yeah, if I had to take a wild guess, probably a lower elevation species. In Peru, I think they have more of a wet, dry season. I could be wrong, but you know, it's not quite as like rainy rainforest there, I don't think, as like Colombia, Ecuador. So this guy probably is more accustomed to drying out, which is why he can tolerate being in 27% humidity. So, and grow this big. Okay, guys, I think we did. He's a little floppy on top, but yeah, that's okay. He has some nodes with some unactivated roots up on top here. So once those activate and root in, this will stabilize. So let me just water him in. I'm gonna try to touch the new leaf coming in because those things scratch so easily. Okay. Okay, let's pat that down a little. Okay, and now I'm just going to use the brush just to kind of loosen up some of this moss on the side, just so that's not super compact, but it doesn't look too compact. I just want to be sure. Yeah, these leaves are gonna get all scratched up after this. Okay. Woo! Did we do it, guys? Did we do it? Oh God, we did it. We flippin' did it. And that's how you do it, guys. That's literally all you do. And you just give them nice bright light. I mean, if I had to measure this light, it's probably around 500 to 700 foot candles. But it's not all of these leaves. You know, some of these leaves are getting like 100 foot candles or 50 foot candles, the ones that are kind of off to the side. So there's not getting a whole lot of light. That amount of light is about medium light. These velvet leaf Anthuriums, they grow in the deep shade, so they don't need a whole lot of light. But now he's a lot heavier, guys, and I'm always scared to put these heavy things on my glass shelves. I wonder if I should move him somewhere else. I'm gonna have to think about that. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hope you learned something. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know, I mean, I know you guys like the plant doc videos, but just by a show of hands in the comments, let me know if you're interested in more like repotting videos. I know they're super common on YouTube, but I do have to repot some things, so I might put out some repotting videos, so we'll just see how those do. So if you like those, or maybe you're like, no, Jake, just stick with the plant documentary stuff. I'm gonna try to do all of it. I don't want to do just one type of content. I want to do some of the plant documentary. You know, like if you guys like it, I'll do some plant repotting and just kind of chatting, just hanging out. I'll do like some kind of top 5 videos where I show plants that are like, you know, plants I rooted from nothing, or plants that are really easy to care for, or plants that like I would not recommend to beginners, or whatever. I've done videos like those that do pretty well, so. But that's gonna be it, guys, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. This has been Jake, also known as Plant Gay for Life. Peace!